Hey guys, we got some really amazing news today. Well, debatable, I guess, for some. I know Mahler probably won't be too happy, but I'm happy about this. Dave Filoni has just gone up the ranks big time, even more at Lucasfilm now, to be Cffo. So, Dave Filoni has a new mission in the Star Wars universe after guiding Rosario Dawson's force-wielding hero to distant celestial realms in the first season of Ahsoka. The writer, producer, director who started out working alongside George Lucas on the animated Clone Wars show nearly 2 decades ago, 20 years ago, has ascended to a new position at Lucasfilm, one that will give him input into all the galactic storytelling going forward. And this is what I've been gunning for a very long time, that we need Dave Filoni to oversee literally every single creative story project that goes on with Star Wars so that we have a cohesive story which takes place all under the same sort of umbrella, timeline, consistency, whatever you want to call it. Dave Filoni says, "Now I'm what's called Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilm." Filoni tells Variety Fair, which places him into the development process, which earlier and in a much more expansive capacity than his previous advisory duties. "In the past, in a lot of projects, I would be brought into it. I would see it after it had already developed and in good ways. So now he's going to be in there from the very beginning with all the projects, and everything's going to have to go through him. I believe Kathy will probably be still, one step above him, but I think that she will hopefully, I mean, she's probably not, but I think she should take a back seat and let him do all of the creative decisions that go on with it. Filoni will now work more directly with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and alongside Carrie Beck, a veteran producer turned head of development, to originate and shepherd next generation of Star Wars movies and shows. After spending many years involved in the creation of Star Wars animation, including Rebels, he became increasingly involved in live action as a producer with Jon Favreau on The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett. In this new role, it's opened up to basically everything that's going on, Filoni says. "When we're planning the future of what we're doing now, I'm involved at the inception phase." And this is exactly what I want to happen. You can't just bring him in nilly-willy here and there, in the middle or the end, literally the end. You have to have him involved at the beginning. And this was the main big problem with Lucasfilm, was that they did not have someone like Jon Favreau or Sam Witwer at the inception of every single sequel film. And that's why it went to shit. The news comes a little over a month after the conclusion of Ahsoka, an 8-episode Disney Plus series that explored how, neither Filoni nor Dawson were able to speak about the show when it debuted. In a Vanity Fair exclusive, both of them are now free to discuss the changes the show brought to the broader Star Wars narrative, both on-screen and behind the scenes. Hayden Christensen, who returned to play the spirit of Anakin Skywalker in Ahsoka, also spoke about reprising his role from the prequel films and what the series says about how Darth Vader reckons with his own terrible history in the galactic afterlife. "You just learn a lot from Dave in general, I think," Bordizzo says. "I know that he's traditional in the sense of how he learned so much from George. He has these pillars of storytelling that are dear to him, and then everything else can be untraditional." And that's very true. I think, Filoni is the only guy that we have that will carry George's stories and legacies, potentially the best of anyone else. I think if him and Sam Witwer and Jon Favreau team up, we'll get something that's hopefully really great. "I'm not telling people what to do," Filoni says, "but I do feel like I'm trying to help them tell the best story that they want to tell." I think he should be telling them what to do. "I need to be a help across the galaxy here, like a part of the Jedi Council almost." Yeah, but they fell. He describes his responsibilities as understanding the intent of the filmmakers and being a resource to them, based on his mentorship under Lucas himself and his years spent steering the Clone Wars, Rebels, and Ahsoka. "Literally hours now of Star Wars storytelling I have done," he said, before pausing to rethink his syntax. See, I even phrased that like Yoda. At the Star Wars Celebration fan convention this last spring, a number of new projects were announced by Kennedy, including a feature film from Filoni that will help bridge the decades-long gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, a space that The Mandalorian, Book of Boba, and Ahsoka are already busy filling. Yeah, and I think that's going to be the new sequel trilogy, to be honest. If we're being real here, that's going to be the first sequel trilogy. You get Return of the Jedi, you don't get Episode 7, then you get Return of the Jedi, then you get Dave Filoni's movie. That's what happens. Actually, that kind of worries me now that it said it bridges the gap. Shit. I don't want it to bridge a gap. I hope they're just saying that, it's just like, oh yeah, we're just, I guess we'll see. Filoni will continue developing his film as well as exploring a possible second season of Ahsoka while serving in his new position. To truly help filmmakers, it was really important for me to experience it firsthand, he says. I can also lend a perspective on the challenges that telling these stories will present. I feel more capable of actually being helpful outside of just saying, well, Jedi are like this and Sith are like this. Yeah, dude, that's literally been the problem. Like, he actually has to guide the story. If someone comes to him with like a dumb idea, like Luke abandoning everybody and going to a stupid planet and cutting himself off from the Force, I would hope that Dave would be like, no, I don't think that's really the best decision for Luke at this time. Instead of just, being like, well, if you're going to do that, the Jedi are like this and Sith. Like, no, dude, no way. All the titles from Star Wars Celebration are still on the books, Lucasfilm officials say, including a historical epic about the early origins of the Force and a story revisiting Rey. Upcoming television projects include The Acolyte, set in the High Republic, and Skeleton Crew, a show about a group of lost young space travelers set sometime after the Empire's defeat in Return of the Jedi. Darth Vader's legacy in Ahsoka. Is there anything here? Okay. Ahsoka Tano was his Padawan, blah, 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 let alone past since she's had a very particular idea of him, the Jedi Order, and who she was in all of that for a very long time until that image was shattered, Dawson says. The point we graduate to here is, yeah, he did some terrible things, and he also did some really great things. And it's always up to you how you choose the direction. She can look back at her own life. She's gone through some hardships that could have been the moment that turned her dark. She didn't go there, so I think she's starting to trust herself. Okay, and I think the rest is just more so about Rosario. Yeah, Hayden Christian Soul. I could make a video on this in another video, I think. But yeah, okay, so look, Dave Filoni now having this position at Lucasfilm, I think, was something that they needed to do at the very inception of Disney acquiring the company. I feel like, they have really just lost the mark when it comes to how they should handle Star Wars and Lucasfilm. And I'll never forgive them for that. That's Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. But I believe going forwards that this will be a decision. It's at least, good news. It's at least a move in the right direction. And I was looking at my Instagram post when I posted about this, and a lot of people were saying, it got a lot of likes. Someone said that, oh, great, we won't have any more original stories ever. And I don't think that's true. I think once Dave is done telling Ahsoka's story and, maybe Anakin's story more so, I think then we'll be able to get some original stories from him. And now that whatever will happen will be passed through him. So everything will have a massive guidance from Dave. And I think that's probably the most important thing going forwards, because now it's not going to be so all over the place with these random writers like Joby Harold that they get in there and they write all of this crap that makes no sense. The characters wouldn't act like that. They wouldn't be like this. They wouldn't make these decisions. And that's really at the heart of it. What the problem is that we have not even a preconceived notion. We just know these characters inside and out, and we've embodied them for decades. So we know how they would make certain decisions and how they wouldn't, what they would say, what they wouldn't say. Are they talking too much? Are they talking too little? Are they focused on something that is completely irrelevant to their interests? Are they, not blowing out the fire like with Obi-Wan and just looking at it and just not going to the side or using the Force like he did 2 minutes ago? Hopefully all of these things will be remedied now, and Dave Filoni will take us in a direction that George would have wanted us to go from the very beginning. And honestly, so stupid that they didn't do this from the start, but better late than never, I suppose. Great news. Let me know what you think about it. I know there's a lot of people who don't like Dave Filoni. I like Dave Filoni. I think that he is a step in the right direction, and this promotion is definitely going to hopefully give us that. So hope you all have a great day. Leave a like on the video, and may the Force be with you.